we're a little late here on the first agenda at 9 a.m. We'll be brief, then we'll get to the next one. But the annual salary resolution for county employees, we have in the on the custodian side, we have the two custodians, the main one that takes care of the courthouse and the part-time one that takes care of the other building. But we don't have the salary listed or arrived at for the fill-in janitor that comes in and fills in for Joel when he's on vacation. So we just need to arrive at that amount and have it officially placed in on the salary resolution for Casey to add.
What have we been paying him on? He's been coming in.
Well, right now it's
It's just been 9 because before that we always paid the fill-in maintenance person 10.
Well, we gotta put it at 10 then.
okay. Is there an official motion for said idea?
I'll make a motion that we pay the fill-in maintenance person $10 an hour as per what we
Past
used to.
practice.
Yeah, per past practice, I guess.
I would second that motion.
Okay. All in favor of the $10 amount for fill-in custodian, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Being none? Okay.
You
Okay,
visit
fellow
that
colleagues, to follow up on the motion, the HR lady pointed out to me that salary resolution was established July 1. So is this, the gentleman that's filled in, is it retroactive to July 1 when the other salaries were imposed?
He just started, so I would think so.
He hasn't worked very much?
No.
Okay.
I would think so.
Okay. All right. I'll move then that $10 an hour rate be made retroactive to coincide with the annual July 1 salary resolution to be imposed at $10 an hour
I
at the
would
same
second
date.
that.
Second? Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's 10:02. We have on the agenda the proposed lawn statue for the courthouse corner area lawn for possible action item and discussion. So, anybody want to start off with a opinion or idea regarding?
I'm stepping in for Emily because she had to take a friend to Missoula this morning for a procedure.
Okay.
Apologize. If you hadn't already known, I know that Emily had discussed with the county extension office that the tree that's out there now is past its life expectancy. And so as that tree continues past its life expectancy, then it becomes more of a liability actually. But the point that she wanted me to make though too is that if this were to go forward, that the soonest anything would happen out there would be spring, if that early, depending on the artist and how soon we get going. But that nothing would be done out there until there was a substantial portion of the artwork that was done, then to start moving forward.
The other question would be is that you guys said you were going to field around and see if anybody protested against the removal of the tree, even though his life expectancy is probably to that point. I did get one call from a citizen that she said if we take the tree down, she's going to mow the statue down. So I thought, okay.
Is that a Toro lawnmower that can do that?
I think she'd use her vehicle is the way she expressed it, but, you know, that's always a tough issue is when you take a tree down, you know.
Right.
But I think it's a good endeavor for the possibility. If the tree, you know, and the voices of opinion want to keep the tree, I don't know what other spot would be available that would, you know, lighten up the area, so. Did you guys hear anything?
I've had a few phone calls.
Okay. What was the most complaint?
The ones that I got were not in favor of putting it there, so. I think I had 3
Yeah,
calls.
okay.
I had 4 comments, Gordon, 5 comments. And 4 of them were against it. 1 of them said they thought it was a good idea.
Okay.
One of the suggestions from one of the people were, well, why do it on that corner where it might be more congested? And they said, if you want to put another eyesore up, why don't you take the one eyesore down, referring to the
Kiosk.
kiosk. So that was the comments I got.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Kate Suplee, and I'm a Missoula County resident, but I have a vacation rental cabin at Sloway and some land there. I have a background as a landscape architect, and of course, owning a vacation rental, I read the article with interest in the paper just last night when I got here, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about the sculpture, like what's it, I saw the drawing, but I don't know what material it's made.
Steel.
Steel, okay. And then I thought, I had concerns about the tree too, because in Missoula, we're losing a lot of street trees right and left. The
Are they
drought,
dying or are they?
people aren't watering them,
Yeah.
so the city's cutting them down. And in fact, the county cut down, well, using city crew, all of our trees in front of our courthouse.
Yep, I saw that.
And it's just kind of shocking. And I've always really appreciated the Mineral County Courthouse since I bought my property 10 years ago. I love the trees, but the way I really notice it is when I come from Castles Market and head towards the courthouse, and I wonder about tourists who are new to the area and they're coming in, they're getting off the off-ramp. I think it's pretty easy to zoom by that corner. But once, I think a lot of them probably do, my guess, for example, do stop for groceries at Castles. Once you're there, you're parked, you're settled, you've got your groceries, you're pulling out, I think you're more apt as a newcomer to be relaxed enough and looking and really taking in the scene of the beautiful courthouse. So my thought was, because I love trees too, and of course the tree, I noticed it's pretty decadent. I mean, it's pretty, looks like it's on its way out. It could be replanted. But I wondered if maybe another location could be kind of across from the kiosk or the gazebo thing. So on the lawn of the courthouse, on the right-hand side as you enter the main doors, I kind of wondered about that location. My other thought is, I know it's 16 feet tall, but on a larger scale of things, like the courthouse is big, way bigger than 16 feet tall, as are the existing trees. So I kind of wondered if maybe it's not quite enough to hold down that corner. I mean, it's the scale might be more compatible with being placed in front of the courthouse rather than on that corner, where I do think a lot of people, especially new people, just kind of are trying to find their way into town and, you know, just get off the freeway. And anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
I'd just like to, that tree's been there, you know, forever, as far as I know, you know, everybody here too. But I can see it's in kind of bad shape. It's getting old. And I hate to see it go, but I think of something like designed to go there, this project. When I pull up to that stop sign, I'm looking under the freeway, I'm looking this way, you know, every way for traffic. And something there, I don't think is a real good spot to look.
Block the view.
Well, block the view, and you were really not looking for something like that to say, oh, there's Needy Old Kid there, there's, you know, Saw, there's everything. Yeah, and I agree, I don't know how much this other project is used out that octagon. I don't know how much use it gets. But I think that would be a lot better spot for something like that. I don't know if it gets enough use to warrant keeping it there. And where's the money coming for this $30,000? Where's that
Mr.
coming?
Ornelas?
There's some thoughts about raising that funds. You know, we already have some dedication of about $3,000 toward it, but then people are willing to give towards that right off the bat.
I think so you're getting it from donation, right?
Yes, there would be no cost to the county.
Mhm.
And that includes even taking down the trees for all the work.
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna move ahead with this project, I'm gonna do what I can, see what the city will kick in too.
Oh, okay. So so it sounds like so far, any of the issues seem to be that with losing a tree, which they've gotten comments, and other people in here have expressed. And then, Mr. Jostad said the corner, the location. So that's probably a good time to read this letter from our County Health and Planning Officer, Mr. Tim Reed. He said in the letter that the road system for Superior is antiquated, to say the least. I am not aware of a long-range planning effort or study in regard to traffic level, traffic patterns, and future traffic increases. One of the more congested intersections in Superior is 4th Avenue East and River Street. This intersection provides access to a significant business section of Superior, but also to the school, hospital, and over half of the residential area of Superior. To further compound the use of the intersection, also serves as the exit for the Interstate 90 westbound off-ramp to Superior. This creates significant semi-truck traffic that accesses the town pump for fuel and rest stops. Needless to say, the entire I-90 intersection, both west and eastbound, should have a traffic impact study that addresses current patterns and the future traffic growth. It seems logical that one of the more practical improvements to the intersection would be to add a right-hand turn that would allow traffic to continue instead of backing up on 4th Avenue while some vehicles are attempting to turn left to access Diamond Road or Southside Road. Practical alignment of the additional traffic lane would be to the north by widening the avenue, which would definitely impact the corner under consideration. I would recommend foregoing a decision until further discussion and study has been completed for the 4th Avenue East and River Street intersection. I regret that I cannot share this opinion in person, Tim Reed. So he's kind of talking about what you are, which I never even thought of that issue about what they might want to do in the future with, with the interstate ramps and that stop sign there. But would the group be? Did they have their heart set on that location, Ernie, or is there another spot that we could provide that doesn't require?
I know that the comments about, people just passing by that corner, but if you notice that in most towns or cities where they do have something that's welcoming the folks, it's right at the entrance to the city. That particular point, for people who are exiting off the interstate off 90 coming either westbound or from the eastbound that are going to come through to do business will see that particular representation of so many of the historical and current aspects of Mineral County. Put it in, and I understand that some people say, well, they're just going to drive by and not see it. Well, when you see a tree, something that's normal, that's to the eye, those kinds of things get put out. But when you see something that is not expected or not usual, they usually draw attention. I understand that, the concerns that Tim has, and maybe that is a possible issue. That's something that you as the commissioners would have to take into consideration. The other location on the lawn, although when the trees are in full bloom right now, as winter is there and there's no leaves, it would not obscure the particular sculpture, but during the summertime when the leaves are all full, it would actually kind of be obscured. The point is we're looking at not so much for the attraction for our local people, but for the visitors who are coming in, and a representation. The point is, part of it is to try to attract folks to come into Superior.
I drove around the block looking at the tree and looking for a different spot, and I wondered too about the spot over here. They got an evergreen tree there on the lawn by the jail. I know that would only get the people coming westbound coming off, which the eastbound coming off wouldn't see this anyway. It's going to be.
If they're getting off on eastbound and they're coming into town, yes, they're coming right underneath. As soon as they come up from the underpass, it's going to be right there.
Coming into town, yeah. A lot of them go,
Town pump.
Yeah, well, yes, those folks, we're not going to,
Okay.
not much we can
do
do.
it anyway.
There's nothing there that we could even put up even as a sign.
Well, I think Tim's letter is very valid concerns. One of the reasons I say that was the Memorial Day flea market in St. Regis every year. Had someone told me, I've lived here since 1972, had someone told me 20 years ago that that was going to happen, or even 10 years ago that that was going to be that kind of traffic in St. Regis, I'd told you were full of beans. You'd have been down there this year, you wouldn't have believed it. And last year was the same way. Traffic was stopped on the freeway. I mean, it was not a good, and I'm not, I don't know if you can equate this to that or not, but you start getting traffic stacking up, and it does stack up, and it stacks up in a hurry. If they could do something different with that right there, I wouldn't have a problem. I looked at that tree this morning, and I didn't realize that big chunk had already been gnawed off the side of it there. But yeah, that tree probably is close to the end of its life, but not that you couldn't replant it, but that is kind of a congested spot too.
I think that part of that tree came off during the storm.
Yeah, could have been, yeah.
I thought, my understanding was that it was taken off because of the impingement of the traffic, that branch going out into over Fourth.
I thought that it.
I think it broke off.
Yeah.
As far as Tim's letter there, Dwayne, one thing Tim didn't mention, and I think it's worth bringing up, is that the state maintains that section of Fourth Avenue. And I don't know when it would ever take for the state to decide they actually want to put a turn lane in there. We couldn't get them to put a stop sign up.
Yeah, I know.
Down at Gordon Road.
It takes a lot of persistence. It takes trips to Helena.
Yeah. And the other thing too is,
Any of the work that we've done in St. Regis has not been overnight or done in a year or 2 years or 10 years for that matter. It's an ongoing thing all the time.
well, given the age of that tree, it's coming down sooner or later. Whether somebody takes it down.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing about
That's
the
gonna
tree.
open up exposure
Yeah.
onto this lawn right out here. And I wouldn't have any problem setting the statue further back into the main lawn.
Yeah, it's got possibilities. Sit it back far enough, and then you still got room to put the bricks all the way around it.
But somebody asked
And that
that this
tree.
morning, will there be like a barrier to keep people away? Somebody said, well, what if somebody's kid climbs up on it? And I said, I really don't know.
No, we're not gonna have that.
It won't have a fence or anything around it?
Well, there's nothing stopping a kid from climbing a tree.
No, other than they can't. I mean, it's gonna take a pretty talented kid to go up that
You'd
tree.
need a ladder, yeah.
But it's not unlike what happens in St. Regis, with all those folks stopping there with the fish when they stop and take pictures.
Mhm. Yeah, except they're not climbing on it. I mean, climbing
Yeah,
over
some of
it.
them have.
3 foot off the ground instead of.
There's always the possibility somebody's gonna do something.
Yeah, that's true. But somebody may run over it. You never know.
We've already heard that threat.
Yeah.
No, that was just one of the questions, was there gonna be a barrier around it of some sort?
No, I don't think she planned for a barrier around it, did she?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, that's.
We were talking about having the brick to go all the way around it, like they did at the university
Yep.
around the big grizzly there. And people could buy bricks, and then part of the money go to the historical society, and the other part would go to the cause, for the statue itself. But, I mean, I guess we should take a look at every avenue that's out there to make sure we don't upset. I mean, our idea is not to upset people.
Right.
It's to make this, a
Yeah.
joint venture between all the people, so.
Yeah.
But you're always gonna tick somebody off, there's no doubt about that. I just wanna make sure I'm not standing in front of it when she comes by with the car.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't really focus on that. I really support the sculpture and the public art, and I really like the idea of the bricks around it. And that way, I think, would draw more people maybe to walk up to it the way they do with the fish in St. Regis. I think it's a great concept, and maybe the corner is the right place for it.
Shall we go out there and take a look at it?
Yeah, we can.
Let's do it.
And we were still in that.
I agree. I was kind of.
I'm only thinking about two ideas. They ever did do a wine for the right hand tree. We have an
Plenty of room there for that. They're gonna take that tree if they do.
Right.
But if they did that, they take that tree. They're right down there. Ernie, can I read you the plan again?
Yeah, I think it was 10 feet, if I recall. Yeah. Want to take action on that today, or you want to hum about it a little bit, talk to Tim?
Emily, did Dave say anything? I know that somebody was going to talk to him about, his growth expertise in weeds and trees. What did he say?
He said that yes, the tree does pretty much need to come down because it is past its lifespan. But as you guys all stated, it could be replanted there, so I mean, he's kind of unbiased on the situation, I think.
Oh.
He said that at one point there was discussion about taking down and kind of rotating the trees, taking down some of the older ones and replanting newer ones in their spot. That was at the 100-year celebration or something like that, that was recommended. But as far as his concern, he just thought that the tree is past its lifespan. So eventually something will need to be done regardless.
Well, given the tree gives me less concern, given that, and also the fact that it's kind of removed from the courthouse proper, the lawn, the little courtyard, and the building. It's kind of, then we got a parking lot, and then we got. But I do take Tim's letter with some salt because of the fact that I know I always criticize Missoula when they had opportunities to fix thoroughfares and traffic problems. They used to always blame it on Higgins and Warden and the slant streets being created, but then they had the perfect opportunity when they built Reserve Street to make another thoroughfare to Walmart, and all they did was block that up with Home Depots and Carmike Theaters, and you can't get anywhere across except Flynn Lane. So I want to reserve Tim's idea or concern, but so if we could bring it back, but then I don't know what the actual dimensions are and what you'll need, and what Tim thinks that they might need if they did make a right-hand turn lane there in the future. So I don't know, I'm kind of inclined to maybe.
I just speaking by what I saw of that, I think it's going to be about 3 to 4 feet thick by 10 feet wide and then 16 feet tall. And the brick will be shaped, I do believe, like this. It comes down.
Yeah, and it won't be brick, it'll be
stone.
local
Yeah,
stone.
Yeah, stone, yeah, excuse me. Yeah.
And then Lori brought up out there too, another thing, I wonder what our county road foreman thinks of the area and how much he might need for his snow plowing. I guess we talked to Joel now, T-Bone.
Yeah, well, it depends on the
Snow.
winter,
Yeah.
they do, when they do plow the parking lot. They that's kind of an area where they kind of stack the snow, so,
Right.
you know, something I think we need to.
Oh, they do stack there. They do stack.
Yeah, if we get like last winter, I mean, they had to,
Keep
there was
pushing
a
it.
pretty good pile back there by the end of winter, so I think it's something we need to maybe, you know, talk to Jason and maintenance guy too, so.
Yeah, I know we always hate kicking things down the road, but I'd kind of like to wait to talk to Tim and
Yeah,
T-Bone, but I don't know how you two feel.
no, I think that's a good idea.
How long do you think it's gonna take to raise the funds to do this?
It's gonna take him a while to even build it. That was what we should be looking at is, you know, we can't tell him to go ahead until we know that you're gonna allow at least a
Yeah.
place to be able to put it, because without that, we can't tell him, go ahead and get started, and then we would work on fundraising.
So you want to give us an expected time date?
Yeah, like, so Ernie, are we hampering your efforts too much if we hold off another week or
Yeah.
two? Just
It's
for-
Emily's effort, I'm just representing him.
Okay. Emily slash Ernie, I mean, I hate to
Yeah.
put you on hold because I know you want a decision, but on the other hand, I think maybe if we had a little more time to be sure, like one of my colleagues always said, the best decision is one not made in haste.
Yeah,
Amen.
But of course,
So when were you looking at from?
so we're at November 17th today, next week, because of Thanksgiving, we're meeting on Wednesday, the 22nd. But would you guys mind either, how about December 1? That's a Friday, December 1. And it won't interfere with people's Thanksgiving travel. And give us enough time to talk to Joel, T-Bone, and Tim.
That's not that far out.
Okay, that's okay
No,
for you?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I would, that's reasonable.
Okay.
Okay.
how long is it gonna take him to build it once he starts?
That's about 800 hours. I mean, you know, I don't remember how long you took to do this horse head. Some of these particular statues are based on the type of, I don't know whether you're familiar with John Lopez out of South Dakota and the big works that he's done. Some of them are pretty large, but I mean, he was thinking about 800 hours, 800 hours worth of work.
800 hours. Ooh.
I think it will be nice. I agree that it's going to be artistically nice and it'll be a good monument for
Yeah.
Mineral County and Town of Superior both. And it'll, you know, I think it's a nice, attractive idea. I'm just struggling with the location, geographics of it. I think we can get there. We haven't really heard any opposition other than the tree in the corner, or nobody said anything negative that we probably can't resolve.
And it was unfortunate that I think in the paper, there were a lot of people that thought that this was going to be just a two-dimensional, that it was going to be like a sign, not an actual sculpture, three-dimensional.
It's not.
No. And if anybody hereafter wants to see the picture of the kind of work that he does,
It is beautiful work.
And thank you, Kate, for taking an interest from Missoula.
Thanks.
Yeah, not many people come to these, so anyone interested is always welcome.
Yeah.
And Candace, thanks for your outspokenness today.
No problem.
Oh, I just broke my promise, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah. Trouble now.
Okay. Well, we'll revisit it on December 1. Casey, is there a time for these folks to plug in?
It looks pretty open.
Does everybody want 10 o'clock once again? Is that easy to remember?
Sounds good.
Okay, 10 o'clock, December 1, and we'll give you a actual actioned decision, so. Ex-mayor, ex-legislator. We're gonna go back to committee if you don't mind.
We're gonna steady it.
Joint subcommittee.
Yeah. Did you notice the Missoula yesterday
Bipartisan.
had a little faux pas? Their
No,
headline
it's not
said,
bipartisan.
the legislators are meeting and they just got done solving their $227 problem. They forgot to put the word million on the end.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
It's now the governor's problem.
Wow, that would be, the governor could
Yeah,
have wrote a
they
check.
may not have solved anything yet.
No. Well, I think that they had on that, if he vetoes any part of the bill, the whole thing goes. And he's vetoing the furlough.
Sure.
So all that work might be for naught, is that what you're saying?
Could be. I don't know. That's just what I was told, but who knows? hearsay. Could be fake news.
Fake news.
We haven't had any of that.
Yeah.
Other than that, well, thank you for
Thank you.
the
Yeah.
audience.
Thanks for coming,
Yeah.
everybody, and
Appreciate it, yeah.
we'll see you again on December 1.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're on at 11 o'clock with Mary Mueller, the clerk and recorder deputy, or office, with canvassing of the Alberton Municipal. Stacy's gone today, huh?
Stacy will not be in today,
Okay.
so, oops, sorry. So first I have just, these are the statistics of the ballots issued, ballots returned. I'd like to forward them over to
Okay.
Mr. Simons, thank you. And this little packet is tally sheets by 2 of the judges and a total of 105 ballots came back.
Uh-huh.
It was, for how little of ballots there were, it was kind of a process to get it handled because we had 2 write-in, one for mayor, Lorraine and Felstedt, and the second alderman for a 2-year term, there was a write-in for Kim Garding. And so they had to write down all the names that they would have, anyone might vote for them under. So for example, one voted for Felstedt. Well, that wasn't one of her combinations of her name. So we had to go back and check every single ballot of every write-in, and some qualified and some didn't qualify. So that was interesting, but it still wouldn't have made a difference in the long run. Those are our totals. For mayor, John Bigger had 71 votes, the write-in, Lorraine Felstedt 28. For your alderman, there were only 2 on the ballot, and they each got 81. That was Selena Spartel and Marvin Garding. Alderman, there were 2 for an unexpired 2-year term, Joshua Acker, Jamie Odell, and a write-in, Kim Garding. Joshua Acker received 83 votes, Jamie Odell 92, and Kim Garding 3. Total 37% of the voters voted.
So the only ones that had opposition that were on the ballot were the mayor on the ballot with opposition by write-in Lorraine Felstead.
Correct.
And the other one, Jamie Odell, with opposition by Kim Garding.
Jamie and Joshua Acker
Oh, so
So
there
there
was
were-
3 people for that one position.
for 2 positions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Joshua Acker and Jamie Odell.
Received the winning votes and.
Yep.
So, would you like us to recite the number of votes for the record, or did you get it all?
I got it.
Okay. Did you get it, Kathleen? You want to see that for your,
I'll probably take a look at
yeah,
I can give you a copy as well.
Okay.
you can give it
thanks.
mine. Show her where the writing one is.
So basically, there's going to be 2 sets because there were 2 judges. This is one judge's set of everyone on the ballot, and then the 2 write-ins. And their votes.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
You're welcome.
So Mary, on this sheet here, it says, where it says issued, what, is that the total number of voters in the city of Alberton? Where it says
Correct.
1136?
Well, no, so I wasn't sure exactly, but, so all of these stand for basically the same thing. So there's only 284. So there's 284 in the citywide distribution,
Oh,
which would be
okay.
the same as voting for the city court
Oh,
of 200. so, yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah, don't ignore these bottom numbers, because I
So-
wasn't sure exactly
so-
which ones.
So the city of Alberton has a total of 284 registered voters?
Correct.
Oh, very good. And 120 of them did not return a ballot.
Correct. And then on the far end, you'll see the 59 undeliverable,
Mhm.
and so those are
came
ones
back.
that came back.
Returned in the mail?
Is that part of that 120 though? Or is that in
No.
addition to the one?
So if you add up the 120 and the 105 and the 59, that's gonna equal your 284.
Okay,
So the ones not returned, plus the ones accepted, plus the ones undeliverable.
okay.
We didn't have any rejected this time, so there wasn't any that, you know, there were instances where they put Lorraine M. Felset but didn't put the X,
Mm-hmm.
so that didn't count.
Oh, wow.
But again, those few differences wouldn't have made a difference on the outcome.
Right, right. Too big of a spread. Okay. Did you guys have to use any kind of machine for a small election like this?
It's just easier to hand count them.
Right.
Other than that one factor, which was, it was tricky, because I'm like, wait, nope, that one doesn't count, you know? Because we're continually double checking, because Lorraine had numerous facets of her old
How she had-
married name. And
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's actually in your packets as well. All the names, I photocopied them somewhere.
Or aliases.
Yeah, how somebody might remember her as.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did, you'll see that one page is everything and why we rejected it. Because Lorena was spelled wrong. Felstedt was rejected.
Mhm.
So those are the name rejections. And then the Kim Garding one that was rejected, she was running for the 2-year alderman, and they put her under the 4-year term alderman, so
Oh.
it didn't count.
That's always a problem with writing. Have to be precise. Or more exact than just checking the box. All right, any other questions for Ms. Mueller? Thank you.
You guys just need to sign this.
Up here?
Yeah.
Just this right here?
Yeah, just on top.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's things going?
Good, good, yep.
Liking it?
Yeah.
Thanks for helping, Casey, too. Appreciate it.
I remember it. Okay. I move we accept the numbers provided by Clerk and Recorder Mary Mueller for the Alberton Town election.
I'll second that.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Any opposed? Thanks for the reminder.
Sure.
Does Kathleen have any public comment?
I do not.
Okay.
I was just
Okay.
seeing what Mike's doing here.
Oh, I guess it's your turn, sir.
The news spreads fast. Well, I guess just make it official, I came in put my hat in the ring for sheriff. Obviously, you guys have known for a while that I've been interested in it, still interested in it. Want to come back here. Like I told Anita when she hired me, my loyalty was always the mineral. And, you know, I went away and got some experience, and I think with my job experience and past history, and I'm ready for the job and to work with you guys and, you know, help better the image of the county and the sheriff's office and, you know, get it back up and running properly to where people are not upset about it all the time. So I'd just like to be considered for it, whatever that takes.
And so, you gave us a resume and list of experience and letters of recommendation. Did the HR office actually have you fill in an application? or-
Yeah, I filled out an application. I turned everything I gave you guys to her also with the app. And then there's some certifications that they actually probably have on file from when I was here before, from classes and stuff, and then some new stuff from Seattle
Mhm.
that I have, so. And. yeah,
How long were you at Seattle?
From '04 to 2010,
Uh-huh,
left as a detective,
uh-huh.
so. And then I did some union work, so negotiate contract negotiations all over the country, doing federal, security guard contract negotiations, traveling the country and then dealing with grievances and employee law and how to deal with employees properly. So I'm hoping that, will help with any situation we have come up.
Mhm. So the job of sheriff doesn't require post-certification?
It does not require post certification.
It does
It's an
not,
elected
yeah.
position.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my post is expired, but the sheriff position does not require it.
Uh-huh.
Like Tommy
So
was
as
not
a
post certified.
investigator, what does the state require? Not post, but just,
Doesn't, if I'm sheriff, I have all legal authority.
uh-huh.
So I think I can go, and I probably would choose to go, I think they have a week of getting up and to par with the Montana laws, just getting a refresher course. So I'd either do that or have somebody come down here, which,
I think
There's-
Mako has
something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think so, too.
Yeah.
Right. And there's feelers out with people that I know. I was fortunate enough to be given the opportunity that trainers would be willing to come here and help with stuff. I've already reached out to J.D. Douglas and John Polich, and then John is a captain now with Lewistown. He's willing to come down, volunteer his time for training. So
what's his
JD.
area of training expertise?
He's actually very good at the law and criminal statute.
Mhm.
It's actually pretty impressive how knowledgeable John is with that. I mean, he teaches that, that's one reason he got him promoted so fast up into captain, but he teaches that at his department. So he said he'd be willing to come down and help with the deputies because, there is some required training they're supposed to have every year, hours, and if we can't afford to send them, we can bring trainers here to help get those hours, supplement it that way.
And J.D. Douglas, he was a deputy here, but what is he
Deputy
now?
Fish and Game, I think he's
an
the head of
investor-
detectives.
He's a, investigator for the
Fish and Game.
Fish and Game.
I actually
Oh.
think he's the head
Yeah.
investigator for
in
him.
Helena.
Supervisor.
Oh, in Helena?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
hmm,
So,
yeah. I remember when he was driving the Cenex fuel truck.
You are old.
Yeah. Yeah.
so, and then, there's Nathan Reiner,
Oh, yeah.
as you know.
Yeah, is he still?
Marvin,
fish-
Magic Marv.
Yeah, you know Marvin, Reddick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh, how'd you know him?
He was here when I was here.
Oh, that's right.
He got dragged down the highway.
That's right, he did. You were a deputy here then, huh?
Yeah. So, I just want to come back and help and, I'm ran before and, I'm hoping this shows you that I'm still interested in that. As Roman knows and other people know, and I'm a team player. I don't want to fix it all by myself. It can't be fixed at this point by one person. It's going to have to take the county attorney, county commissioners, the sheriff. You're going to have somebody that's willing to come into the meetings.
And the community, yeah.
Yeah, in the community, exactly. It just, at this point, there's no way.
Well, we've got, maybe you don't know, but we have a whole host of problems here. I'm surprised anybody wants to step forward. Are you sure you know what you're getting into by applying here?
I believe I do. I'm aware of the situations, I think, and
Mhm.
obviously I'll maybe visit later and get some more, maybe I don't know some other
Mhm.
stuff, but some of it I think was, I guess I don't know why they did what they did, so. But I think hopefully some of it can be, it's not gonna get fixed overnight, obviously, but.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to, personal, but when you worked here before as a deputy, what were you making an hour?
I left here at $12 an hour,
Really? And what year was that again?
2004.
2004.
I think it was $12.50, something like that, 12 and change.
So you know that the pay has always been a problem with Mineral County then?
Yeah, but now, they're 18, 19 bucks an hour?
Mhm.
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
was there's shift differential and clothing allowance?
Right,
is
which
that-
adds on to that, plus then seniority or whatever, or longevity in that. Yeah, I think you're gonna find a lot of the departments, I think that's what Lewistown, a lot of those are all starting out roughly around 20 bucks an hour, in that ballpark. If you're in law enforcement to make a lot of money, you're in it for the wrong reason, and that's not-
Especially in Montana.
Right,
Yeah. Yeah, we just had Steve Young in here who's retired in New Jersey. He just got done saying how law enforcement back east paid a lot more.
Yeah, well, Seattle, I was at 39 an hour when I left.
Really? Big
When I
city.
started, I was at 30, I went from 1250 to 30. Talk about a shock when I got that check.
Oh, I bet.
I was like, what? This is a mistake.
Too many zeros, right?
So, but no, I mean, it's not about that, so.
Well, we thank you
I've
for your
always liked the
interest.
community,
Yeah.
so.
It's not gonna be an easy job, no matter who fills those shoes. Same problems that's always been.
Right.
I mean, not trying to scare you away. Obviously, you don't scare easily, or you wouldn't be sitting here right now, but some of these problems are going to be continually ongoing because of the money situation.
Right.
You know, our wages are up on the deputies, and in the past, since Tom came in, we've had more deputies, but whether we can sustain that number of deputies, it's all gonna depend, you know, I mean,
Right.
it's a year-to-year battle here. That part doesn't seem to go away. No, I'm glad you're interested.
Yes.
So, are you gonna come back for, when are we doing that? Did we say the first?
Yeah, now that somebody's interested, I guess we'll see if someone else. I never even thought of anyone wanting the job. I don't know.
And on that note, whenever you decide, whether it's sooner or later, or December or whatever, I'm pretty much ready to start,
Well,
other than not having a place to live.
Well, we had it on the agenda for.
I know, and that's coming soon, so I'm just kind of talking out loud here, but if we get another applicant or interested people, do we do an interview, or what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna go by resumes, or public influence? I mean, like I said, I didn't think anybody
Well, I
wanted
don't
the
know,
job.
maybe, I don't know, should we do kind of like we did, if we get another interested party, like we did Ellen? I don't know, I mean,
Like we did Ellen and.
When we had people,
People
we had
from,
a,
you know, we had kind of a panel.
Do a committee for that.
Well, just kind of have a I mean, so
Yeah.
that
If we could-
he can come in and introduce himself and talk, or, you know, and then, if we have somebody else, if Boone is still interested, I mean,
where it's like a competitive interview
yeah.
for the position, with the county attorney, the 3 commissioners, and an ex-sheriff, or, I don't know, Sean Donovan, or,
Someone,
I mean, I guess there is,
That might be a good idea.
there is no rush for December 1 if we need to.
No.
Take our time.
And we did say tentatively December 1st
Mhm.
as to a
That
point.
might be a good
so
idea, not to just make it be
Make
over
a
on our shoulders.
hasty, you know, decision, you know,
yeah.
go within the net, till December 1st, well, at least another week or so, and see if anybody else steps forward,
Mhm.
talk to Boone, and then.
Well, if Boone, like you said, if Boone doesn't want it, for whatever reason, family reasons,
Mhm.
or he's not ready to be in an elected position, and we only get one applicant, then I guess
Well,
that's a
then we-
no-brainer, but if
that's
we do have,
no-brainer, but if we do have
If
more
you have
than
another
one, then I think we
applicant,
need
yeah. Right.
to,
have a little committee of an attorney and.
I would suspect that you're not gonna see a standing line out there in the hall, but
either.
you may see someone else. I'm a bit surprised to see you back, Mike. Really am. I didn't figure that.
Ever since the election, I've kept my ear and eye
Yeah.
on the county, and
Yeah,
again,
we appreciate that.
you know, maybe I wasn't good at running an election, you know, but I'm good at law enforcement, and I'm good at dealing with people, and
Yep.
especially have grown a lot from the past, and I want to show the community that, and I care about the department, always have. And I will lean on past sheriffs, as in Anita, even Ernie, and Johnson, and all them. It's a wealth of information.
Yeah.
I've never, you know, and that's one of the letters of recommendation I showed. It was an old one, but it was to show that I believe in getting help, that it's not just, I don't have the ego, I know everything. We're never gonna accomplish that. We've gotta get help. I don't, you know, why reinvent the wheel when other people have the system? Lean on Missoula, Sanders
Yeah.
County,
Exactly.
build those bridges, those relationships.
Yep. Well, good.
So my understanding correct that you're gonna give it until December 1, that's your deadline for people to apply?
That's what we had originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if by December 1, we'll talk to Mr. Boone. So if he is interested, in fact, in throwing his hat in to be the permanent sheriff at the end of the term, and then, like you pointed out, he's gonna have to run again then to maintain that position. Or if he is only interested in helping us out until we appoint one. So now that we have another candidate interested, there's this gentleman, and if Boone is interested, now there's two. So we were just discussing, we might have to actually impanel a committee to help decide between the two. So then it would not be a decision on December 1. It would be, we're going to announce that we have two interested people, and maybe we'll have to form a committee to help us, you know, Mr. Donovan, the commissioners, the county attorney, Alan Donahue, past sheriff, or a past highway patrolman, or someone like that. I'm just throwing out ideas, don't know what we're going to decide, but that would help us. Were you here when we did the process for our county attorney? We had about 5 people interested, and then we had kind of a committee with interviews, and then the committee helped us decide. So it wasn't, that burden wasn't just on our shoulders alone. It was input from the other people that were on the committee.
The only thing I would say is, if maybe to prepare for just in case there's a line out the door, start thinking about the committee now, so that
Right.
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
after December 1st,
Mhm.
maybe that first week, we could do the interviews.
Mhm.
Because the faster you get somebody.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I was just
yeah.
gonna say
Stabilize
that,
the
the faster we
Yeah.
got somebody in there, the better off we
I
are.
mean,
Yeah.
if,
Same way as getting
Uh-huh.
in jail up.
I mean, I'll knock on wood that if nobody comes in and it's just me and you hire me December 1st, then we start right away. If not,
Well,
you know.
the first full week of each month, we have a double header meeting. We do a Thursday and Friday. So if on December 1, which is a Friday, we weren't able to appoint, in other words, if there was more than one interested party, then we probably would try to get the committee to meet either on a weeknight or on Thursday, do some interviews on Thursday the 7th, and then maybe have the recommendation in known that
Right.
evening. So we could, but I don't want to wait till January, February.
Right.
We
No.
need to decide by
We
December.
need, yeah, we need to get that.
Because our jail is also kind of hinging on.
Yeah, I think the holiday
Yeah.
threw you guys off
Mhm.
with the holiday week.
Because we got the jail up in the air, which whoever's going to be the sheriff, we're going to have to make decisions on hiring of some deputies. And
Jailers.
if Sheriff Boone wants to go back to being under sheriff, that would not require as many hirings. But if he was the sheriff, we'd have to hire another deputy to replace his, all those kinds of questions and concerns. Did you understand that concept, Kathleen, that currently, well, we had the sheriff, the undersheriff, and the deputies, but if the undersheriff goes up to become the sheriff, that basically makes another opening in the lower echelon. But if the Sheriff Boone goes back to being undersheriff, and another sheriff is appointed, then that vacancy has been filled by Mr. Boone, not by another deputy being hired.
Oh, and I like the new chairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're a little bit easier on the back, aren't they?
So much better than the old.
Mhm. Any other questions or comments during public comment, or? Yeah.
Thank you.